Hello! Today is an exciting day because look what I have. Oh, fancy boys. These are the Daniel Smith watercolor essential set. And basically it has like split primaries. To be fair, I've actually had these paints for a really long time, but I just struggle with like using like fancy supplies because I'm like, oh, I'm not worthy. But like I feel like it's even more wasteful to just like keep them in storage and not use them. Like, why do you even buy them? And I really do want to use this because I have never tried the Daniel Smith watercolors. And it is nice to have the primary sets to like get a feel for these. It's kind of hard to get Daniel Smith paints in Europe. They're quite expensive, but I got this off a sale. These are like quite tiny tubes, but I think I'll get a good feel for them if they're like worth the price. Oh, I even got a little sticky. I have prepared like a thing for them. So I think this had mints in it, but I've just cleaned it up. I also have some basic watercolor pans for them. I'm just gonna use blue tack to stick them into palette. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. So I'll just get these set up and then we'll paint with them. So the colors in this set are Hansa yellow, light. Where's the pigment information on these? Yeah, here they are on the side. Very small print. This is PY3 and this is New Compose. And it is actually a mix. It has PY97 and PY Acrodone Rose. It's PV19. I think that's quite standard. And then we have this Pyro Scarlet, which I'm really excited about. And this is 255. Phthalo Blue. This is the standard BB15 column 3. And oh, beautiful, beautiful. French Ultramarine. And it is the BB29. So I was actually kind of surprised that this is a mixed color. So it has like two pigments in it. Like two yellow pigments. But I think that's quite alright. I don't mind too much. Okay, actually, I think my blue tack has gone bad. I think it's kind of ancient, so I don't blame it. So I'm just actually gonna use my grossest needed eraser. It would be nice to get some like small magnets maybe at some point, but I'm just using what I have on hand. I'll get you some. At least try to get some nice paint pouring footage. I do have to say, these are poured out really nicely and like the colors look wonderful, but like sometimes when you pour paints for the tubes into pans or on your palette, sometimes there's like separation of pigment and binder, so just some like binder pours out. It's like this like yellowish brownish stuff. But it didn't happen here. This just burned out really nicely and smoothly and really have to mix them. So I think that really speaks for the quality and like look, they just look wonderful. Oh, they're so pretty. I just hope that footage is nice because I have like really shaky hands, but I love me some paint pouring. But yeah, these are the colors, and I'm just gonna quickly pop them into tin, and we can get painting. Ah, they're cute. They're not perfectly aligned, but it is whatever. And I arranged them based on color temperature. So on the top are the cool colors, and on the bottom are the warmer colors. I'm gonna quickly cut out a piece of paper so we can do the swatches on it. I want to like match the size so I can put it in the palette. So here it is. Yeah, it fits perfectly. So I found a scrap piece of paper. It is watercolor paper. I think it's 250 GSM cellulose paper, and I think it's fine for doing the swatches on. And I just like them to fit the palette, so when I'm like maybe traveling or like in general, it's easy to keep track of them when they can fit in the box. And I might also add some blue tack or my kneaded eraser on the back, so I can stick it in here or on the top. Okay, it's not too pretty, but that'll do. So I did misspell pyro, right? I thought there was like two L's, but it's actually two R's, and oopsie. So let's actually swatch these. And this is a Pentel Aquash brush, but this is the like small one or fine. Yeah, well, whatever it is, it's the smallest size. Oh, it's so pigmented. Oh, that's such a nice warm yellow. I love it. Oh, I placed it the wrong way around. I also I messed up the blues as well. Well, I swatched them on the right spots and maybe I moved the paints around. I didn't make it very clear here what was the issue, but the issue was that I placed the reds and blues on the wrong rows. Like, they were meant to be placed the other way around on the swatch card, but, you know, this happened. It just kind of bothered me though. Oh, I love that flow. Oh, it's so nice. Oh, that's a lot of paint. Yeah, it's kind of weird working with like completely like wet paint. I always just work from like dry pans. So it's kind of hard to control how much you take. Oh, that is very, very pigmented, so... Oh, I do like these colors. I think I didn't do the quinacridone justice. Very pretty. This is a very textured paper though, so that's kind of showing through here, but we'll see the paints better in action when I actually, you know, paint something. But I do really love these colors and they do really feel nice. It might change a lot when they dry down because, like, of course, like working with like wet paint like this, it's gonna be a lot more pigmented. So I don't know how well this like re-wet, but I read some like reviews that these are quite nice re-wets. Also, I did switch around to paint so the match the swatches, so I don't get horribly confused. Especially because the blues are so pigmented, it's really hard to tell like which is which without the swatches. So yeah. So I did a bit of sketching. And this is what I came up with. I decided to go with something I'm 100% comfortable with. So like it was between birds and like moody portraits. And I went with the moody portrait, which is like a girl with, of course, puppies. I promise someday I'll draw some other flowers, but I really just like the puppies. But I feel like it's nicer to test out art supplies with something you're really comfortable with drawing, because I feel like it's a lot if you like use a new art supply and try to draw something new at the same time. At least for me, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. And I'm using my erasable colored pencil to do the sketching. Also, I don't think I mentioned the paper, but I thought since the paints are quite fancy, I would also use fancy paper. I do kind of feel like a fake watercolor artist, but I don't have any cotton paper, like any. I don't think I have any cotton paper at all. This is 300 GSM cellulose paper, and this is wait, yeah, this is a cold press one, so it has a lot of texture on it. I enjoy a bit of texture with my watercolor papers. Okay, I'm done with the sketch. I added a few more poppies to fill out the page nicely. Again, since the paints are fancy, I thought instead of using this, I'm gonna use my porcelain palette. It's a bit wet because I just cleaned it. I don't think this is actually a paint palette. This might be a food dish. But like a porcelain surface works really well with mixing watercolors. So that's what I'm going to be using. But usually I don't mind mixing on the lids of the tins. It is alright. But I just want to get the Daniel Smith experience with these. One department I'm lacking in is the brushes. I don't have any like super nice brushes, but I don't think it really matters. The reason I just want to use like good supplies for this, I'm like joking about them being really fancy, but I also want to give them like a good go, like give them a good chance and really get a feel for how they are. So like using cheap paper, I don't think it would be like fair for doing some like supply testing. Oh, this is such a nice poppy color straight out of the pan. Here I just went completely quiet. Like I was just really enjoying myself. My usual set of schmink paints are kind of known for not being very flowy, so the color doesn't travel really far. I think it was quite nice how flowy it is, where it was very different compared to my schminkes, but I didn't hate it. I actually really enjoyed it. It was really nice for painting the flowers with. And I mean, the red color is just, oh, it's beautiful. I love it. Sorry, I'm just gonna go completely quiet. I'm just really enjoying these. It's a bit nerve-wracking to take the wet spray paint straight off the pans. I'm kind of scared of wasting the paint, like grabbing a huge bunch and I'm just carefully like tap tap tapping the pans. But it is really nice to like grab a load of pigment and just slap it on. And I've been painting a lot in my sketchbook, so like painting on an actual piece of watercolor paper is also kind of nice. I've just been really enjoying filling out the sketchbook, but definitely want to do like more proper painting. And now, with the first layer of poppies done, I'll get started on her face. Adding a bit of yellow to make it a bit more orange. And this is not the skin tone, this is for the blushing bit. I also let the poppies dry, so I won't like smudge everything. Ooh, there's really bad glare. There we go. So I'm just adding warmth to her skin. And I want to keep the cheeks as the reddest area. Oh, and the lips. Okay, I was a bit shy with this. I do want to make it even more red. I like really well blushed characters. You know, I think all my paintings have a bit of blush blindness. Sorry, I'm playing around with the lighting to make it look a bit better for you guys. I'm sorry, I keep switching up the lighting. I just want to figure out something that looks good. But yeah, let the blush dry. Now I want to add some other tones to the skin. I'm using the basic model for like color variation on the skin. I can put up a picture on the screen so you'll see what I mean. But basically the skin isn't just one tone. There are like more red areas and more yellow areas and even some more cooler areas. Like some areas have some blue tone to them. So I'm just laying down the color variation first and then I lay out the skin tone. That kind of like smooths out the blushes and the yellow tones and stuff like that underneath. So that's why I do it in this order. So like variation first and skin tone after. I think I'll go for the warmer blue because I do want to give her kind of like a deeper skin tone. Instead of like lighter skin tones that can reflect more like turquoise, like a turquoisey grey. Yeah, so like deeper skin tones need more purple. So I'm using the warmer blue and adding a tiny bit of red. I use the blue tones the least, but I do still want to get them in there. So while I let it dry, I'll mix green for the poppy stems and also did some like buds. And I want the green to be kind of muted. You could get a really bright green by mixing the lemon yellow and sailor green. But I am going for like a kind of like an olive green. So I'm using the ultramarine and new gambos instead. Yeah, just like that. Lovely color. Oh, I've already dirtied the new gambos. My yellows always end up really messy. And I really love coloring in the whites of the eye. So I'm really unsure of the hair color and the eye color. So I'm just gonna mix a nice skin tone while I have a thought about it. So I'm just using the warm yellow and red to mix like a bright orange. And from there I'll go darker with the blue. And also tone down the saturation a bit. But that's such a pretty color. And I'm also using all warm colors for the skin, because my skin tends to be quite warm. I quite like that color. I don't have nearly enough of it. I'm just being so shy about taking the color from the pans.
I need to be brave.
Oh yeah, I still didn't mix nearly enough color. Yeah, because I have to water it down to stretch it over the entire face. It's a bit lighter than I wanted. So I'm adding another layer of this. I'm just lifting out the highlights. I think it's quite beautiful. Okay, so I let the skin tone completely dry, and I think it turned more of like a neutral tone. Kind of like a yellow ochre sort of color. It's still very warm, but it is not as warm as when I laid it down. I do want to add some color back in, like blush. I think I want to give her like bright blue eyes. Turn this into a bit of a darker purple. This blue puddle that I have here. So I can do the poppy centers with this color as well. Yeah, that's the color I wanted. There we go. And then I have to actually decide on a hair color. Like, I feel like I always do black hair when I do like my moody portraits, because I really like using like a paint gray for it, so it's like a bluey black. Like, kind of like the center of the poppies. I'd like to go for a bit more creative hair color. I have a little ponder. Okay, so if everything looks really different, that's because it's much later. I took way too long to paint this, and it's in the middle of the night. But we'll carry on. So the hair, I actually thought I'd give a hair like a deep brown hair, like kind of like a walnutty color, because I made the green really warm in this piece, and also the poppies are clearly warm, and her skin is warm, so I want this to have like a very like warm and soft look. Again, I'm not mixing nearly enough of the color. Yeah, I'm gonna let that dry, and we'll be back. Okay, it's dry now, and I'm gonna get some footage, but I really like how the ultramarine blue is granulating. It is a very granulating color, but sometimes since this is the French ultramarine, sometimes the French ultramarine doesn't granulate at all, or like a lot less. You can really see it in the brown, and I really like that for the hair. And I think I'll mix more of the brown to do some like shading in the hair. So, okay, I mixed more of the color than I think I would need, but I wouldn't be too shocked if it wasn't even enough. Sorry, I had to cut out the rest of this painting process because the camera was on the wrong setting, so the lights kept kind of like flashing. So yeah, we'll just jump to the end. So some thoughts. I do really like this. These are quite great. Really love the colors. Like, I think these are very good split primary palette. Well, I will have to see how well they re-wet. But like straight out of the tube, these are very nice, and I really like the flow of them. Like the flow, I probably couldn't catch it really on camera because I was a bit zoomed out, but like the flow is basically when you have a wet paper and you drop in some paint, how like far the paint travels. And it was quite nice. Doesn't travel too far, but it has some like life to it. I'd definitely so far say these were worth the purchase. I don't remember how much I paid for this. It was so long ago. But it wasn't too much, and I think these will last me a lifetime. Not to mention I have like even more left in the tubes. So this is what we made with these paints today. I hope you enjoyed watching me try these paints out and make this painting, and I hope I can see you again next time. And goodbye!